I think it was about close to a year ago that Telltale revealed that they were going to be doing a Batman series based with their brand new engine and bringing it to that episodic nature that they do with The Walking Dead and Tales of the Borderlands. And I was very excited. Now, here we are. A year later, closing out the season with the 5th episode entitled "City of Light," and there will be spoilers for this entire story that has been developed by Telltale, which is supposed to set itself apart from the usual Batman mythos. So if you have not played the episode just yet, then please do not watch this video, even though that's been kind of the case for the past few videos that I've been doing on this series. And as the background image shows, we have Batman versus Lady Arkham and trying to keep the city from burning up in flames. Batman in this instance, or Bruce Wayne, is all about catching her and finally putting an end to her plans, but not before dealing with Harvey Dent. The episode opens with dealing with Harvey Dent, and I love that it kind of opened with this little flashback of Bruce and Harvey not only being newfound friends, but also Bruce finally backing Harvey Dent and where that sense of loyalty stemmed from, only to then cut. And I love that little transition where he flips the coin, cutting to present day with now Harvey in a very twisted state of mind, which again, still to this day, really bothers me because of my choice back in episode 2 or 3. But what I loved about this opening is that I actually felt bad for Harvey Dent. When he's like withering in the fetal position there on the ground after his mind kind of breaks, and he's more than likely going to be committed to Arkham after finally thwarting his plans and catching that coin like I did and putting it away and keeping the result of the coin from him, causes like some kind of paradox in his brain, which is very interesting. I've never seen that kind of happen to Harvey Dent before, because up until this point he would always flip the coin, see the result, kill somebody, just like he actually does at the beginning here. But what if he never saw the result? Does his personas kind of fight with each other in his brain? And it looks like it did. He collapses to the ground. And not only did I feel bad for his character because of that happening, but Travis Willingham did an excellent job with Harvey Dent throughout the entire series, and I think he reached his pinnacle here in terms of his performance. He reached it here in the beginning, where we kind of send off Harvey Dent into his fate, which is to be locked away. I think he did an excellent job with his voice, because there's little subtleties in his voice where you can hear the two personalities fighting with each other, and his transition between the two was just great. From that point on, it's all about catching Lady Arkham, but not before we raise the stakes and Alfred himself gets taken away by Lady Arkham, and that's where the tension really grows, because now, being that Telltale has set themselves apart from the usual knowledge that you know about Batman or about the Batman character, especially the Rogue Gallery, especially Vicky Vale, of course, here they can kind of get away with killing off Alfred. So at that point I was like, will they or won't they? And from the journey to trying to find them, piecing together the clues to see how Alfred is not afraid to fight back and to get kind of gnarly with that pool stick or whatever, down to Batman going into that little room to kind of shed some light as to how twisted Vicky Vale really is, and seeing the drawings on that's some new territory that made not only this episode refreshing, but also made me look back at some of the little things, the little conversations and the little nuances that we had with these two characters, Alfred and Vicky, throughout the series. And I'm like, man, this is like so much different. There was so much lying underneath the surface that was actually pretty clever for Telltale to do. This all then leads Batman back to Arkham Asylum, which is where Vicky is going to unveil her grand plan and kind of execute the whole thing. And it is here where we run into our continuing problem with Telltale and their new revamped engine that they were trying to usher in with this new Batman series. Man, this game is almost broken. Almost. I mean, and I'm really fascinated by the fact that I wasn't the only one. It is during this segment in Arkham Asylum where we have Batman go up against a number of the inmates that Lady Arkham releases. And not only are the inmates clones of each other, I could have sworn to God I saw the same dude like 3 times. I saw Batman fight the same dude 3 times in 3 different locations of the asylum. But on top of that, not only leading up to this point do we have some frame rate dips, especially when we have certain elements surrounding Bruce and Alfred, like holograms or particle effects or something like that. The frame rate would dip down to like 15 frames, 20 frames. It's embarrassingly low. But it is during this scene where we have Batman Telltale series pull an Assassin's Creed Unity, and we have a dude with no body, no head. He's just a floating mouth with two eyes. What the fuck is that? We're beyond that point. It's 2016. I downloaded the latest update leading to this episode, and yet we're still dealing with this thing. And I went on Twitter, I went on social media, and a bunch of people are posting images and clips of the exact same invisible man crawling around in Arkham Asylum. And it's been happening in so many people's games that up until this point, people are assuming that maybe that's the reason why he's in Arkham Asylum, is because this guy's like a mutant of some kind, and he's now going to become a canon character, and that would actually be pretty hilarious for Telltale to do. But all kidding aside, what the fuck, Telltale? This is why I think they should slow down. I mentioned this in a vlog that you can check out on my channel, in which I say that I think Telltale needs to slow down, because if they keep trying to take on too many projects all at once, then we're going to start seeing more of this sort of thing happening when Walking Dead comes out next week, and with 2 episodes, and then after that we got Guardians of the Galaxy, and I'm very worried about those series if glitches like this are going to be persisting. Now, if I was to go ahead and play devil's advocate, I would say that maybe downloading that update right before downloading the 5th episode of Batman might have been a blessing in disguise, because I heard some other people say that the game would actually crash on them a number of times, mainly in the final climactic battle between Batman and Lady Arkham down in the catacombs of Arkham Asylum, which I believe is also a running thing amongst the comics and different variations of Batman in the video games. And it is here where we have our final fight between Batman, or in this case Bruce Wayne, because I did have my mask be taken off. I decided to take the decision to take off the mask. I feel like that was a bit more turbulent as a character choice, rather than just keep it on and try to attack Vicky Vale firsthand, and then in retrospect she might have ended up killing Alfred instead. But here we have our fight, and a lot of people were saying that the game would crash an awful lot during this fight because of how hectic and crazy that ending fight is. Luckily, the update not only kept it from any bugs or any crashes, but I felt like it ran rather smoothly. And this allowed me to kind of be immersed a little bit more in the gameplay, because here we have an awful lot of more of that choreography where you have to press buttons in a certain direction and match it to the prompts on screen. But there was something about the prompts and the way that they were laid out, and the way how quickly that they came about, that not only did it feel good hitting those buttons right when Batman would punch Vicky a certain way, or he would deflect a move a certain way, but also there were moments where the moves were going to catch me off guard, and I would hit the wrong button. And once I hit the wrong button, I would be like, okay, it's not going to matter. But it actually didn't matter. Batman actually absorbed a couple of punches and drew a little bit of blood whenever I missed a button, and I was like, okay, is there going to be some consequence here? I kind of want to see if I lose, but at the same time, I want to be able to fight back. So it felt a little bit different. It felt a little bit more chaotic and perilous here in this ending fight. The combat that I'm talking about the combat and the gameplay. It felt better and more refined here than it did in the previous episodes. And again, it ran smoothly, and that choreography was actually rather intense. And I'm like, damn, this is a legit cutscene that I'm watching in awe, and I'm fully entertained by, and it felt like something that should in fact belong in the movies. And I have to give Telltale humongous credit for that. I just wish that they would do it with an engine that would work with the previous moments that were leading up until this point. And after that, I really liked how the episode ended. It had a little bit of a lengthy resolution where I'm like, damn, this thing's going on a little longer than I thought it would. But I chose to go as Batman to show my support that Batman is one for the people. Plus, it's Batman. I mean, I'm going to be dressing up as Batman, especially with the brand new metallic suit. Part of me kind of likes it, and another part of me is like, it looks a little bit too much like the Injustice Batman, and I've never been a huge fan of that costume where it looks a little bit too much like armor, too metallic, unless he's going up against Superman. I've never been a huge fan of some of the angular, like pointed parts of the costume, but at the same time, it's badass, it's Batman, so I went ahead as Batman. And I liked where the episode ended, where it showed that yes, there's a glimmer of hope, but that's not to say that things are going to be pink roses from here on out. We have an assassination attempt on Gordon as commissioner, and then we end with the perfect note, which is Joker enjoying a nice drink at the bar while contemplating maybe trying to kill the commissioner later on down the line. And I love that, because not only does it kind of hint at the possibility of there being a season 2, but also I'm liking that Joker might actually be the main villain, which he always tends to be, But this iteration of the Joker, I feel like I'm gonna be enjoying an awful lot. We actually saw him previously in this one episode when we do get to Arkham Asylum. Everybody's fighting, everything is chaos, and Joker is literally just chilling. He's just chilling, watching the chaos unfold, and that's a very Joker thing to do. And the guy behind the voice, I can't remember his name, the actor that got to play Joker, he actually does a tremendous, awesome job. Like, I actually hear Joker talk when he talks, so that's a very good thing to do as a voice actor. And again, I love the little nuances that they're giving with this character that does make him feel like a legitimate Joker and a legitimate antagonist for Batman to go up against. So down to the last episode, Telltale's Batman series was still plagued by the same technical issues with all the bugs, down to where it got super weird with that Invisible Man. And what was up with that opening? It opened with Batman and Jim Gordon in the precinct, and it was a cool action scene, but I felt like there was this weird, awkward transition between that and the previous episode where it says like 5 days later, but yet we barely have Bruce going back to the manor after it being torched to the ground by Harvey Dent. I don't know, that was a really weird opening. It kind of felt a little inconsistent with the last one, but all that aside, I have to say that if you go out with your 5th episode being probably my favorite of the entire series, because of how it built up this level of tension to the end game where we had Alfred not knowing whether or not he was going to live or die, and this really cool, well choreographed fight scene between Batman and Lady Arkham, who even down in the last episode still gets very fleshed out with that torture chamber that was very creepy. I thought that this was a very well-rounded, well-crafted episode on a script level and on a voice acting level that it almost made me overlook those technical issues. But there's no getting around that Invisible Man is going to be haunting my nightmares. No. Those eyes and set of teeth are going to haunt me more than Lady Arkham or Batman himself. That's insane. Anyways, I give City of Light a high 8 out of 10. Definitely would have been in the 9 category if it wasn't for those very obvious technical issues, but I'm happy to say that at least Telltale ended their Batman series on a high note. At least it did for me. So thank you guys for watching. Please let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of Telltale's Batman series. Do you think it was a wise move to take on this character, to change the mythology, and do you think that there should be a 2nd season with Joker now being the main antagonist and what he could be brewing up his sleeve? Please let me know in the comments with your feedback, like and share this video, and please subscribe for future reviews, vlogs, and possibly some gameplay videos that have cooking in the oven with some sprinkles on top. See you guys next time.